Hi, this is episode 2 of The Professionals, just finished uni. As I hinted in my last video, today I will be covering the steps that you should take even before you're done with your final course at university to get the sort of job that you want, in the industry you want, and preferably with a company that you want. I'm going to call my pointers considerations, as these are the steps I suggest you consider taking. I can't tell you what steps to take because the ultimate decision lies with you. Now, consideration 1, know what you want to do. Your career journey doesn't begin when you throw your hat into the air on graduation day. Your career journey began when you chose your program of study at university, and this, I'm assuming, was in a field that you loved and you wanted to build your career in. I know that in some situations, our parents prefer that we take certain career paths based on family history or perceptions of social status, or for one of a myriad of reasons. However, I hope this was not the case for D professionals. I hope that you chose your own careers. Or if the situation happens to be the previous, that you're currently making lemonade out of those lemons. Now, as will be the norm throughout my videos, I'll base this on my own experiences, the experiences of other people, or what I've heard from others. Now, before you finish university, think about your internships. This is our chance to get a head start on the careers that we're aiming for. Companies will offer you internships, so start planning your dream job at this point. Don't be afraid to target big companies if that is your choice. Consideration number 2, create a company shortlist. During my final year of university, I had 3 companies in the telecommunications sector from which I wanted to choose to do my internship. I studied electronics and communications engineering, and this was because for as long as I can remember, I had a love for science and technology, and I wanted to work in a field related to engineering or science. I had briefly considered medicine, but I'm extremely squeamish, so that was a no-go for me. Then I looked at the course catalogue for the university that I was aiming to be admitted to, and I found electronics and communications engineering, and I chose it. This was because it offered quite a range of different areas where you could apply your skills, such as sound engineering, broadcasting, computer science, automation, and telecommunications. That was my aha moment. It was telecommunications for me. And this was because telecommunications is part of our everyday lives. Even this YouTube video that you're watching right now. I hope you've all had your aha moments. You may even get more of these moments as you go along later in life. Wink. That's for those of us who haven't finally settled on exactly what we want to do. Now back to my shortlist. I narrowed my shortlist to 3 companies, and on my internship hunting day, and I'll call it hunting day because back then we used to go into the buildings of the companies and drop our CVs at the reception desk, and this was about 8 years ago. So I remember that this was a Friday, and I changed my mind between my top 2 companies, and instead of going for company number 1, which was on my list, I went for company number 2. And this was because I was more attracted to the brand ethic of company 1, and then I decided that when I dropped my CV there that day, I didn't want to go anywhere else because that was a job that I was hoping for. So I only went to one company when I was hunting for my internship. Again, this was on a Friday, and voila, on Monday they called me and they asked me to join the IT department. And again, being myself, after 1 hour in the IT department, I spoke to the lady, head of IT, who offered me the internship, and I said, could she please help me to get into the remote support group, because actually what I wanted to do was get some hands-on experience behind the actual equipment that would transmit voice and data all across the world. Consideration number 3, aim for graduate programs. After my internships and then my graduation, I went back to my home country to start looking for a job. Yahoo! Not continuing to a master's program was a conscious decision that I took because I wanted to get my hands dirty. I wanted to start working. I wanted to start getting some experience, and therefore be sure that before I invested in continued education, it would be in a program that is practical and applicable to my career. Now, 8 years later, I have my Master of Science in Engineering finally, but that's a story for another video. So over 2 years, I had a couple of jobs, all in the information and communications technology industry. And one of them was part of a mandatory program that we had to go through in my home country. When you finish your studies, you do something to contribute to the country. During these 2 years, I still kept my ambition of wanting to get a job at the company where I did my internship. And I periodically kept going to the website and looking for jobs. And again, I was looking at when they had graduate programs offered. I would apply to positions in graduate programs in my company. And it's quite cyclical. It's every 18 months. So I was quite lucky that I found something when I did. And again, I won't kid you, I was focused on my company that I am with now, but I looked at other ICT companies, even a bit of oil and gas, but anything to do with IT and Fortune 500 companies, but I still kept going back to the website of the company where I am now. This keep trying is actually a good segue into consideration number 4. And then I'll go back to consideration 3, which is aiming for graduate programs. Consideration 4, have patience. By the way, if I may point out, segue is spelled S-E-G-U-E, not S-E-G-W-A-Y, as I had originally thought, or S-E-G-U-E-W-A-Y. I found this out while writing my script for this video, and I thought I would just share that with you because I didn't know myself. Again, apologies for this intermission squared. Back to consideration number 4. Have patience in finding your dream job. I didn't say take your time because having patience is something you actively have to practice. Take note that I had 2.5 years between graduating from uni and getting my dream job. During, the 6 years now that I've been with my company, I'm still finding my way around, taking different roles. I know the industry that I'm working in. I know what I like to do, and I'm still finding my resonant frequency in my company right now. So, back to you. If you don't get the job you want immediately after university, do not despair. Keep on trying. If you have the luxury of time and are not pressured for financial reasons, don't be tempted. And again, don't be tempted to accept the first job that you're offered, because believe me, the professionals will get offered more opportunities because we chose a career that we're passionate about and that we excel in. The risk with taking the first job that you're offered is that you can get locked into a specific type of role or even into a salary bracket that will be difficult to get out of if your actual dream job accords you twice or even 3 times of that. And believe me, salary is important, so do your best to get your worth. And again, I have to add, have patience, because even after you secure that job, it may take several months during the recruitment cycle, and to the point where you actually sign your contract, your employment contract. So it could take 5 months, sometimes 6 months is possible, especially for the larger companies. Now back to consideration 3, looking out for graduate programs. I looked out for not just graduate programs, but international graduate programs. And this was because I wanted an international career with a multinational company. And, there are local graduate programs or country-specific graduate programs. However, if your goal is for an international job, then go for the international graduate programs, because those will really, really fast-track your career once you're able to get the job. I've been with my company for 6 years, and in that time, I've actually worked in 4 different countries, either on local employment or on work visas, and I've traveled to 3 times as many of that on business trips. So those are one of the benefits of working, of aiming for international graduate programs and then working internationally, if that's your aim, of course. Now, in conclusion, I'm going to summarize the 3 considerations and one extra one that I've added. As they say in the business world, you should always have only 3 main points, but I happen to have one extra, which is 4. Number 1, know what you want to do. 2, create your company shortlist. 3, aim for graduate programs. And 4, have patience. Thank you for watching episode 2, and stay tuned for episode 3.